All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to start doing the Commodore Guff Precon. We're going to do the traditional Commander overview and then take a jump into the spreadsheets, do a nice review of how the deck functions, how I felt about it, how it feels to play it, and then do a short series of videos going into the full analytics on it and the deck list. But let's just jump right in. Okay, so the commander for this deck is Commodore Guff, is a Planeswalker that is allowed to be your commander. Reminder, not all Planeswalkers can be your commander. They have to specifically say that they are allowed to be able to be your commander in order to use them. This one is a red, white, blue. I haven't had the best luck with red, white playing and building red, white, blues, but this one I actually felt really comfortable with. The deck overall feels really good. It feels really smooth. It's a lot of fun to play. You have so many options of different orders of things you can do, different maneuvers. So you gotta. It's more of a strategic deck. You kind of got to think through what loyalty abilities you're going to use when, and how one thing will lead into another. Anyway, lots of fun. Commodore Guff has a base loyalty of 5, and a constant ability of, at the beginning of your end step, put a loyalty counter on another target Planeswalker you control. So on your end step, you just bump up one of your Planeswalker's loyalty counters, and just bump one up. Just flat. Just constantly. So that's a really nice utility. Can help you build up some of your Planeswalkers, which there are some in this deck that do not have any +1 abilities or +2 abilities or any sort of a positive ability, and they only have negative abilities. So that can help you build that up. But the +1 ability on this, on Commodore Guff, is create a 1/1 red wizard creature token with tap, add 1 red, spend this mana only to cast a Planeswalker spell. So you get some nice ramp really fast. It does end up adding up pretty quick, because it's tap to add red, not tap sack. So every turn you can have another one of these 1/1 wizard creatures. Which is really, really nice and helpful, especially as a +1, so he's constantly getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But he has a -3. You draw X cards, and Commodore Guff deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of Planeswalkers you control. So again, this is definitely a Super Friends deck. There are tons of Planeswalkers in this deck. And from what I've seen, it has a couple of win conditions that it can do. It can turn all of its Planeswalkers into creatures and swing and kill you. Or it can deal direct damage equal to the number of Planeswalkers that you control through this ability, also a couple of other abilities. So, really simple. It doesn't have 3 or 4 loyalty abilities. It just has 2, and then the fixed of buffing 1. But it allows you to get some good, reliable ramp, and also wraps in a win condition. So that's Commander. Let's go ahead and take a look at the spreadsheets here. Alright, so this deck functions on a slightly different principle than what I talked about in the Science Precon. The Science Precon had a lot of cards that did a lot of things, and that detracted from the deck, because the deck wasn't really designed to just be super utilitarian and just be able to do all the things. But this deck is. So if we look at the spread on this here, there are 35 utility cards that I marked as utility. Now, if you look, a lot of these cards also double as something else. You know, a lot of them double as draw. Some of them double as loyalty counter abilities, some of them double as protection abilities. So there's the reason for that is because most of these cards in this deck do lots of different things, because there are 18 planeswalkers in this deck, including the commander. And each planeswalker has a number of abilities that oftentimes do completely different things. So we have a lot of variety in what we do and what we are able to get this deck to do, but we are still maintaining our focus on planeswalkers and loyalty counters. Because we can do things with planeswalkers, and our deck revolves around the number of planeswalkers we control, like we saw in Commodore Guff, and we'll see in some of the other planeswalkers. Having a number of planeswalkers on the battlefield under your control will benefit this deck. So that is one of the things that we kind of angled for, or that they kind of angled for in the Precon. So that's why the categories here are sort of all over the place. I will zoom out on this so you guys can see. There we go. There's the full sheet. And why this kind of just looks like a big mess of everything being everywhere. That's why. If we look at the color balance on it, we have primarily white, followed by blue, followed by red. It's about 6 between blue and white, and 6 between red and blue. So it's pretty incremental. But if we look at the number of lands we have 18 white producing lands, 18 blue producing lands, and 13 red producing lands. I would take out a couple islands, swap them over to the Red Mountains, but that is just my personal thoughts on that. If I were to take this deck and make no alterations other than fix up the mana ramp a little bit, I would reduce the blue a little and add some red. But again, that's just my personal thoughts. So there are 27 legendary cards in this deck, 18 of which are planeswalkers, a bunch of which are creatures, and there is also a legendary artifact that makes an appearance as well. We have 5 instants and 4 sorceries, so primarily a planeswalker based, like I said before. We have more planeswalkers than we have creatures. There are only 17 non-planeswalker creature cards in this deck, and 16 artifacts, and 3 enchantments. And those are oath spells, but I'll get into those in later videos. So overall, while the spreadsheet doesn't really say that it's fairly balanced, you gotta also keep in mind the purpose and the context of the deck. Because this deck is specifically designed to function around being able to do tons and tons and tons and tons of different things, and they didn't just grab random things and threw it in there. The focus of this deck, the specialty of this deck, is able to function with a high utility number and low specifics. It does have a solid number of loyalty counter cards, so you could also say that it has a focus there. But the primary focus is in getting tons of planeswalkers onto the battlefield, using their abilities to both protect you and punish your opponents. Draw tons of cards. There's tons of card draw in this deck. I was actually very impressed with how much repeatable card draw was in here. It does draw some cards for your opponents, so they won't necessarily... You have a little bit of, oh, hey, you don't kill me, and I can draw you some cards. But you're also drawing enough cards that you will be able to have it reliably. So you'll be able to just draw into more planeswalkers as soon as you play them down. But overall, this is a great deck. I won 2 out of 3. It was 2 out of 3. I had to think about it. It was a while ago. When I was playing the Precon. It's a lot of fun. It's just probably one of the most fun that I've had playing a Precon since I was playing the Mothman Precon. And I really enjoy the ebb and flow of this deck here. But stay tuned. In the next couple of videos, we'll go over the Planeswalkers. We'll go over a smaller number of cards. We'll just focus on the Planeswalkers. But we'll take some extra time because they take a little longer to go over than a lot of other cards. And then we'll do the non-Planeswalker cards. It'll be a little bit of a longer video. And then we'll finish it up with the lands. But for now, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.